It's almost like people don't love it when you pretend to be injured for views. Weird. Hi, my name is Tati, and I have iron deficiency anemia. Welcome to my channel. Today, we're here to talk about somebody truly fascinating. We're about to embark on a journey to the deeply strategic, fascinating, wonderful, maybe horrific world of Molly Rutter. Molly Rutter is a TikTok influencer that rose to internet attention over a relatively short amount of time for videos that were chronicles of her life dating in upstate New York. I have to preface this video by saying that, like the Kardashians, everything I know about Molly Rutter, I know against my own will. That isn't to say that I don't find her fascinating. I'll add a list of the videos that sparked my interest in Miss Rutter below. I wanted to touch on 4 things about this TikTok superstar that made my dopamine-releasing neurons surge. I signed up for a TikTok account to do this video, so Molly, if you're watching, when the Chinese government deepfakes my voice to extort my family for money, I'm just going to go ahead and blame you for that too. Thanks in advance. The majority of Molly's content is about her love life, with some major caveats here. She is very public and shares gory details of her sex life and her love life. Depending on how you feel about oversharing, that's either really, really brave, or a bit like when you're stuck at a dinner party and somebody won't stop talking to you about their every bowel movement. You get the idea. But I don't have any room to talk. After all, I'm here talking about somebody else's love life. It's about as productive as making my 27th film take of me trying to attempt a TikTok dance. So maybe I don't exactly have a lot of room to talk about what constitutes oversharing. The other thing about Molly is that she dates guys that are significantly younger. I don't know how you feel about this, but I've heard that yuck is a pretty universal reaction. But hey, again, who am I to judge? I'm not really in touch with my inner cougar. Or my inner anything, really. Finally, Molly's moods tend to swing like a pendulum. She gets her hopes up about a guy just as quickly as she tends to have them dashed. Now, whether that's a fun personality quirk or maybe the clinical definition of emotionally unstable, only time and the internet's unsolicited opinion will be able to tell. I also really want to tell you that I like Molly. There's just something about her, the way that she lives her life, her hijinks, that I find interesting. Then again, I own multiple pairs of Crocs and I wear jorts year-round, so I'm not exactly the arbiter of good taste. So let's get started. The first thing that I wanted to touch on is Molly's race to influence. Before her rise to internet fame, Molly was a teacher, a 3rd grade teacher specifically. She claimed that it was her passion, but you know, passion doesn't exactly pay the bills. According to Glassdoor, a 3rd grade teacher in upstate New York makes about $70,000. But what do I know? I'm just here on the internet talking about other people who manage to actually follow their passions. When she started doing social media, the school administration, who were apparently not fans of her side hustle, didn't look too kindly on it. At this point, Molly made the high IQ decision to quit teaching and pursue the thrilling life of being a full-time influencer. A real intellectual leap forward. When in doubt, make sure you're 100% financially dependent on a platform that could ban you just for fun. Honestly, I've been trying to quit my job to become a full-time meme curator, so I get it. This was a controversial move because at the time she had a relatively small following. I personally don't find this move that weird because Molly is kind of right. Teachers aren't really allowed to have personal lives outside of teaching, and if teaching wasn't paying the bills, why should she stick around? I'll link a video down below where Micah, who I guess was going to pursue a full-time career in teaching but turned against it for similar reasons, touches on this. Y'all, this one kind of cuts deep for me. When I'm outside of work, I don't consider myself to have to follow the same standards of behavior that I have to follow when I'm at work. Work is just work. When I'm clocked out, I'm clocked out. So I guess my point here is it's not the smartest move, but I kind of get it. The second point is clickbaiting domestic violence. Basically, she made a series of videos chronicling herself getting ready for a date like she normally does, only for the video to end in an image of her with a black eye and a busted lip saying something like, "This has been the scariest date of my life."
I'm sorry. Are you going to tell me that this doesn't look cute? Are you going to try to tell me that? I feel so confident. I feel like Beyonce standing in front of my air conditioner waiting for my Uber. It's only the scariest day of my life.
The caption said something about needing some time to process. The next day, Molly came back to the internet and revealed that the whole thing was clickbait. In fact, it was an ad for a haunted house. Naturally, her audience, who shockingly didn't enjoy thinking that she had been a victim of DV, weren't too thrilled about the outcome. It's almost like people don't love it when you pretend to be injured for views. Weird. It kind of blows my mind that somebody my age with a fully developed frontal lobe would think that this is okay. We've all known somebody who's been in a DV situation, and I think we're all in agreement when we say that clickbaiting that is totally fine. Just kidding. Can you imagine? What on earth made her think that that's a good idea? To me, this is indicative of a profound immaturity. If you rub your two neurons together for even 4 seconds, you can come to a variety of conclusions as to why that might not be the smartest, most sensitive move. Number 3 are the issues with her Hinge profile and the catfishing allegations. So this is the thing that I've wanted to talk about the most. If you're new to my channel, where the hell have you been this whole time? And also, I lost 100 pounds without surgery or medications or any other intervention like that. I think it's a really cool story, but I seem to be the only one. Someone on Molly's Snark subreddit, which I'll also link below, found her Hinge profile and leaked it. The photos she had on her profile were noticeably thinner. They're lovely photos. I honestly don't find Molly, as she currently looks, to be particularly bad looking. I'm not a huge fan of her hair, but who am I to talk? I'm balding. There's an obvious difference between the way that Molly looks on Hinge versus the way that Molly looks in real life. This comes into play because a not negligible amount of her content is about how she can find a lot of first dates, but not really so many second dates. And well, I'm not exactly a member of Mysteries Incorporated, despite what my fashion choices might say, but I think I know why. I'm gonna be honest, I'm shallow and vain. It's not a combination that I'm proud of, but I'm just saying that if I were to show up to a date expecting somebody to look one way and then they showed up looking a completely different way, I don't think I would be super chill with that. I'd actually be kind of mad. I met my husband on Tinder, and at the time I weighed, I think, about 20 pounds more than I do right now. Either way, I made sure that the photos that I had on there adequately represented my body size. Regardless of whether I found them particularly flattering or not, I wanted them to be the 5 most recent photos of me. Even at my highest weight, which was over 280 pounds, I wanted to really correctly portray that I was a woman of size, if you will. A lot of people are giving Molly a pass on this topic because I think it's a sensitive subject. After all, we really shouldn't be giving unsolicited opinions on other people's bodies, but I just kind of think catfishing is a scumbag move. I'm not calling her a scumbag because, again, there is something about Molly that I just love watching, but I'm just saying it's kind of a scumbag move. When called out on this discrepancy, Molly, in her infinite wisdom, decided to point out that it was fat phobia. Clearly, it's our collective fault for expecting people to look like their photos, right?
And then a big dump of fat phobia. That's what's going on with my dating profiles being judged. Because the fact of the matter is, do you have any idea how common it is to go on dates with straight men who lie about their height? Now, do I go up to that man and say, "You're catfishing me"? No, I don't. If a guy has a beard in real life but not in his photos, if he has long hair in person but short hair in photos, no, I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a people look different from their photos than they do in person all the time. And so since I don't care about that, that's why I don't care to change my photos on my dating profile.
Molly is, in fact, a cute girl. There are plenty of guys that would be into her if they saw what she really looked like, but she's going to miss out on those guys if she's constantly pretending to look like somebody else. Choices and choices. Do you want to be loved for who you really are, or do you want to just continue misleading people? It's a tough decision. When the internet called her out on this, she came out with this video stating that her relative amount of body fat did not influence the way that she saw herself as a person or felt about herself. If that's true, it's truly admirable because that's not how I feel and that's not how the majority of people feel about their bodies. Regardless, I still think it's kind of a scumbag move to try and initiate a potential romantic connection with somebody by starting off on the wrong foot and misleading them. Number 4, Molly seems to have a combative relationship with her viewers. It's almost like being emotionally reactive and responding disproportionately to any amount of criticism doesn't win you friends on the internet. Who would have thunk it? This actually worries me. The internet has a way of long-term ridiculing people who are so emotionally reactive. Molly is unable to take criticism. She is extremely defensive. She doesn't respond well to feedback, which results in a negative relationship with her audience overall. I truly think that if things continue in this way, Molly is going to end up with a social media career that she's not too happy with. So that's the fascinating tale of Molly. I'll be here watching with a mixture of concern and mild fascination. Will you? Or is this all just way too intellectually stimulating for you? Please subscribe if you find this interesting. I post videos on a weekly basis. Don't forget to hit like and share if you know of somebody that might find this video interesting. And please comment if there's something that I missed. I'm sure that there's a lot. This video was in no means all-encompassing.